Minglaba, and I really appreciate you volunteering for this project. This is mostly for the lay people. I think the monks will know what to do, but also for the monks as well. And let's explain the Pali Myanmar to English project. This is the Abhidhan dictionary. It's a very big dictionary, about 170,000 words. And we have an example here. This has already been translated, but most of the words all the words that you get, most of them will be translated, pre-translated by Google Translate. So you may have used Google Translate before. And so some of them are going to be funny, some of them are going to be useful, and your job is to edit and make them useful, make the translations useful. So we have a word here that's Navaguta Bhaka Sukara. So here is the Myanmar translation, and then here is it's telling you to look at a Pali reference word, to see another reference word. You should be able to, the first thing you should do is you should try to judge this translation. You should say, this is fairly easy, I can do it. It's very easy, or it's super easy. And you should not judge it based on this Pali word here, because you're not going to translate that. You're going to actually just leave it transliterated here. So if you look at the word quickly and you say, you know, this is just too hard for me, you're going to send this to an expert immediately. When you encounter something that's difficult, you should only spend 20 seconds looking at it and judging whether you can do it or not. The next step that you should do is you should say, okay, this is easy, I'm going to give it a 7 or better. Fairly easy is a 7. And or better, so you're going to translate it, and you're going to say, you know, pigs that eat fresh manure, pigs that eat wet, moist manure. And then you're going to say see, actually it'll say Navaguta Sukara, look. That's what Google does, it puts look at the end, because Myanmar language has the verb at the end. So if you remember, please change it to see and put it before the Pali word. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to actually highlight the Pali word, and you're going to hit the Roman button. The Roman button will transliterate the word properly. So a lot of times, this would probably, it might actually have a W here, because your V is usually a W, and you know, for you might have a Thukara here. So this is a Myanmar Pali transliteration, and it might actually look like that, and that is not correct. So what you want to do is you want to highlight it, and I don't want you to judge whether it's correct or not. I'd like you to just, unless you're a monk, I'd like you to just highlight it, hit the Roman key, that means Roman Pali, and then delete the word, hit the backspace, and paste it. What I just did was I used the Control-V shortcut, but here is double tapping or right-clicking and hitting the paste menu item. So that's the next thing that you should do. And then the next thing that you should do is judge it. So this was easy, this was fairly easy, this was very easy. Again, 7 is passing, and it should be something that's fairly easy to translate. You've gotten the meaning, it's good enough. And something that's easy would be an 8, very easy 9, and super easy is 10. A lot of the stuff actually should be 9s because, you know, just as you would speak to me you confidently, you should do the same thing with the easy words. But 7 is the minimum for passing. If you're going to judge something as a 6 or less, I'd like you to send it to an expert. We'll have a monk do this a lot quicker. So we have a lot of words, and we don't want you to rush through things, but we don't want you to be spending a lot of time thinking about things, and we don't want you to be translating things that are below a 7. And we would hope that a lot of your translations would be 8s or 9s, but it's fine to have 7s. So the last thing that you want to do is you want to save the word. And when you save the word, it will save the entry to the database, and then it'll move you to the next word. Don't worry about update. Don't worry about skip. I'll tell you what they're going to do. Update will save the word, but it'll keep you on the same screen. Okay? I don't want you to use this. The experts can do this because sometimes they have translations that are 3 or 4 lines long. And they might have to go to the toilet or something like that. So they want to save their work just in case there's a shutdown of the internet or something, and they want to have their last work saved while they were in the toilet or something. So skip is if something's you don't want to do the word. Again, I told you anything you don't want to do, just send it to an expert. So that's a skip will give it to another person. It's like putting a ballpoint pen that doesn't work back into the cup for another person to take. So I'm sure you've been to a bank or something and there's a lot of pens that don't work. So don't use skip. We're probably going to remove these buttons or disable them for regular editors and not for the experts. These are mostly for the experts. And so you hit the save button and then it'll bring you to the next word. Then the other thing is sometimes there are common use Pali words inside the definition. This person who has a lot of lobha, or this person has a lot of kamma. So these might be common words in Myanmar language, but they are, but they happen to be Pali words that you use. Don't worry about it. You have the choice. You can, if they're very common, the person who's going to be using the dictionary won't mind seeing kamma, they won't mind seeing kamma, they won't mind seeing lobha, so they would know what these words mean. So you can translate them, or you can leave them as is. If it's part of your language, it's best to translate it. So we've covered the steps: judge it, translate it, change the order where it says look and see, then do the Pali, do the Roman, paste it there, do the confidence level code. It's very important you do the confidence level, and then you save it. It'll bring you to the next word. Or at the very beginning you say it's too hard, you send to an expert. This is a word that should be sent to an expert from what I've been told. You might know the answer to it, but this word here, which is Nanitan, maybe Nanitan. So I've heard that this is a Pawarana word, and so if you see, the first step is to judge it. It's not a Pali word, this is an old ancient Myanmar word. And if you see that and you don't know what it is, then just quickly send to an expert. And that's the only difference between the two entries here. So that's basically it. Again, we want you to do words at your level, so only do words that you can judge that you're going to be doing as a 7 or higher. Words like this. And don't worry about if there's multiple words or whether it's a female pig or a male pig. Actually, in English, we often don't really explain whether something's male or female with animals. But if you want to, you can. So you can choose to say male pig or female pig or something like that. It doesn't matter at all. And don't worry about the correct word for manure. It could be poop or something like that. Or excrement or something. You wouldn't want to use poop so much, but you could if you wanted to. I don't really care. And as a matter of fact, if you use the word poop and you wanted to give it a 7 or an 8, it's perfectly acceptable because I know the meaning. It's no problem. But that's mainly it. So I'm very happy that you're volunteering for this project, and I hope that you're able to do many words and make many merit. This is a long-term project. There's 170,000 words. And don't be afraid to send the words to experts, and don't struggle with anything. Just immediately send them to experts. And that's one of the main purposes of this new video, is to encourage people to send to experts, and that's important. So that's mainly it. I wish you well and many merit to you. Okay, Mingalaba.